Okay, first of all, I have to tell you, I'm a really experienced guy. I was a crab fisherman in the Bering Sea. We fished around the ice pack. We iced up really badly. I know what ice does. I spent 20 years as a commercial fisherman going up and down the coast, in and out of the ice. I've been to Glacier Bay, been to Tracy Arm, been to all these places where there's a lot of ice. I know what happens when the bottom of icebergs melt. Their center of gravity changes. They tip over sometimes. I've written this book. In the book, I commissioned an artist to do a drawing showing this danger, okay? So last night, a really experienced friend of mine and we came into a place called Forge Terror to take some pictures, okay? So there was 2 beached icebergs there, probably among the largest icebergs I had ever seen in my life. There was an arch probably 30 feet high, very dramatic, okay? We cruised around slowly in the outboard, took these wonderful pictures, just spectacular. And then it was almost like a Zen-like experience. We turned off the outboard. We were laying there. Bubbles from the iceberg were slowly coming up all around us. There was seals, there was eagles. It was so dramatic. Then we heard this rumble. And as we just literally watched in amazement, the iceberg broke in half. The arch came down near the boat. We quickly started the engine and motored out of there as the other half of the iceberg rolled completely and missed us. So this is the voice of experience. Listen to me. Don't go close to icebergs.
Imagine encountering an iceberg and thinking where it came from. Water evaporates from the oceans, gets driven into the mountains in a storm, falls as snow year after year for hundreds of years, accumulating, compressing, compacting, turning into ice, ice becoming dense and able to move down mountains, carving mountains, and coming to meet the sea, shattering and forming icebergs. And they have this blue, this otherworldly blue, this blue that looks as though sometimes on cloudy days as if it emanates from a source inside the iceberg. And what it is that the most compact, the densest ice actually changes its crystalline structure to form large crystals, which acts as lenses, reflecting blue and absorbing the longer wave orange and reds of the sky. And these icebergs are almost alive because they move, they pop, they roll, they fracture, they explode. And sometimes they lie there very peacefully. No wonder they're so attractive. They're so fascinating. They're so beautiful. You know, the famous naturalist and writer John Muir visited Alaska in 1879. He was utterly fascinated with glaciers. He was so excited to get to Alaska to see living glaciers, active glaciers. because when he was in Yosemite, he saw what he believed was the result of the earth sculpting power of glaciers. And so he was so excited to go north to Alaska to experience these glaciers firsthand. So he set out from Wrangell late in the year, October and November, with a Tlingit dugout canoe. And the Stikine chief, Toyaat, said, "This John Muir, he must be a witch for wanting to gain knowledge of these glaciers at this time of year in such miserable weather." And yet, the Tlingits found him curious and respected him and gave him the name of Ice Chief. One of the things that Muir did up in one of the fjords and one of the glaciers coming out of the Stikine ice cap is he went up and he spent the night alongside a glacier in order to see the phosphorescence at night in the seawater as a result of a calving event. And mind you, this was before the time of down sleeping bags and thermarests and good nylon tents. John Muir was utterly intrepid and tough as nails. And I have to wonder what John Muir would think about glaciers and our current circumstances. In my 30 years of looking at glaciers, being around glaciers, exploring glaciers, I've been witness to their decline and their retreat. And it's so graphic on a GPS plotter to go up within a safe distance of the glacier now and look at the plotter, and the plotter will say that we're 3/4 of a mile inside the glacier. They've retreated that much in the short amount of time since when the chart for the plotter was formed in our current day. And it raises a lot of questions. I think we have to ask ourselves, what is it? What's it mean? What kind of a world do we want to leave to our children and their grandchildren? Because the fact of the matter is, the science is clear and indisputable. And the other fact is, we have choices. We have choices.